Good afternoon, good evening, good day, depending on where you are in the world. Happy Thursday. We're one day closer to the weekend. Hope you're all doing very, very well. Happy Thursday. I mean, it's going to be a good day. Any day I get to fly with all of you is a good day. So here we are in Pennsylvania, continuing the chase for the cup. We're going to check out Pocono Raceway. We were kind of in this area yesterday with Murphy when I was on the Murph line. Fantastic segment from Two-Tone Murphy. It was an honor to be on. But we'll be checking it out. We'll be flying over Pittsburgh, some of the mountains. We're going to see some really good scenery today. It's going to be a really awesome flight. Hope you're all doing well. So we've got Pingu is in here. Good to see it. Viper Strikes here. Good to see you too. Kozeki. I'm just me, man. Good to see you here. Abnormal 34 with the 11th month streak of at tier 1. Many thanks. Hello. Wayland is just following off exploring the North Sea. No worries, dude. Happy to have you even just in the chat. What freeware are you talking about there, Kozaki? Shuffle Shoes is here. Good to see it. Noel K is here. Nice, Papa Joe. Yeah, what? Beaver County as Warhamster with the sub. 7 months, my dude. That's awesome. So yeah, we're Beaver County. We're gonna head south, and then we're gonna head northwest, or southeast-ish, and then northeast-ish on our way to Pocono. Goblin Zeus is here. Good to see you as well. Hope everybody's doing well today. Still waiting for that DC-6 patch because holy crap, is that an awesome airplane. It'll be really cool once we can get the DC-6 up in the air in formations, and holy cow, that's going to be a thing. Kozaki, interesting. Uh-oh, we've got a hype train going on now. Frozen subscribed tier 1 for 4 months. Many thanks. That's very true, Abnormal 34. It's been years. So yeah, we're in Beaver County. We're going to be flying really scenic route. We're going to definitely be flying through downtown Pittsburgh, home of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Nice, Papa Joe. Lurking, Rad Pilot Randy is just lurking for now. No worries, dude. Hope you're well. We're doing pretty good here. So yeah, we're in the Rutan design Long Easy, or Long Ease, as some are off to say, as we start here in Beaver County. I don't know what it is about Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania and Beavers, but they got a thing, as Two-Tone Murphy being a legend, dropping 5 tier 1 subs to the community, going out to Two Cats, Mr. Zed Rider, Speednut, New Spawns, and Wombat49. Many thanks, dude. That's quite awesome of you. That gets us to a level 2. Yeah, but I like hockey. So yeah, so this recently got an update. It has an autopilot. Not a fan. You want to talk about a basic autopilot, a little too basic. It has fewer features than it appears. But I love it. I love the airplane in general. It's fun to hand fly. A lot of people think that this is a slow airplane. It's not. It's quick. This thing is a little skyrocket. I can get it. I have to get to maybe 60% throttle, and I'm still going about 160 knots indicated. I just finished this nice. Yes. No, it's an absolute joy to fly. I was showing it off to Jay Winokur last night, and I basically kind of said, if a Formula One car was an airplane, this is probably what it would look like. As Abnormal 34 is dropping 5 more Tier 1 subs to the channel, going out to Pingu, Perkable Kona, Jay Watts, Wayland Utani, and Arborchetta. Well, many thanks. I'm humbled and honored. Yes, words. I can words well. Yeah, tell me about it, Dougal. Speaking of Dougal, I need to do a thing. For the Dougal. All right, got that going. So yeah, we're gonna get rolling in this beauty of a plane. They be hooking up the tender to the. Yeah, words. They're a thing. So we're going to put some. Turn the fuel on. Mixture goes to rich. Throttle comes back. Goes forward to brackets. Mixture's rich. Prop. There is no prop control on this. Stick is free and clear. That. Battery and alternator. Clear prop. Biggles is in the house. How you doing? Hope you're well. Big thing to note about this: no parking brake. All right, so avionics master on, and then the electrics in this is my only gripe about this is, you know, that doesn't really do it. That just turns on the master switch. You can't, you know, control these individually, and that's kind of annoying. You're quite welcome, Dougal. You do a lot for the community. It's my pleasure to give back to you. I give back to those who give as much as I can, and I give to those that can't give as much as I can. So it is my absolute humblest of pleasures. Now we've got, need to find, hopefully, we'll go down where the Firefly's at, and we're going to get to, because we've got a long haul in front of us. It's the best gaming community or gaming related community I've ever been a part of, Dougal, and I'm just proud to be a small part of that. Click and make sure. Now the visibility out of this thing is just unrivaled. For the speed that it has and for the kind of airplane it is, it's a home build. You know, I have the throttles just above idle, and this thing wants to go. You ever have a car that just has the sense of, I really just want to go? This is a plane that I want speed. I want to go fast. I want to go fast now. So who are we to deny it? Hype train is complete. Awesome job, everyone. Many thanks. Woo! Hype, hype. In the doggo emote I got a doggo emote. So, whoa. Probably, but I when I get round to that, it's definitely something I'm going to continue in the 172. SJ Fly2, yeah, absolutely. It's been a minute since I've flown it, and I thought, what better timing than now? So, need to close the old canopy. I'm not a fan of the autopilot, though. I've used some basic autopilots. It's not great. It's almost too basic. Pit race is a nice road course near where. Nice. I gotta fly the airplane, not look at chat for a minute. Okay, gear up. It's a lot of fun to fly, and it comes with a good amount of liveries by default. I really enjoy flying it. Happy Thursday to you as well, Bot. Good to see you. SA Fly 2 doing around the world now that has autopilot? Nice. Yep, I always keep it up just because it's kind of a pain to take down all the time. So I just leave it up, and I've been doing a lot of flying with things that use a joystick because it feels weird to fly like a 172 with a joystick. It just, something feels wrong about it. Choo-choo for the two-tone. Playing around the trim. Trim is a tricky thing on this thing. Go ahead and get on route. Gonna try to keep it around 2.5, 3.5 thousand, somewhere in there. You want to be low enough to see the sights. Okay, so I'm indicating a little over 160 knots. And down to half throttle. Mooney and Seneca are perfect. I think the Bonanza would be fast enough. It's just a pretty area of the world. I did the first leg last night just to make sure everything was okay. And it's just, you fly, don't bother me. I'm flying here. There's a fly in the cockpit. There's a fly in the cockpit. Jepson 2001 is here. How you doing, my dude? Jepson with the sippage. Darn fly is just gonna bother me. I'm sure we'll run into it at some point. A lot of rail lines down below us. There's a Thunderfly, Warhammer, or Hamster, even. You ever just have an extra hat on standby to swat flies with? Speed up for Fort Pitt or Squirrel Hill. Fort Pitt dumps you into downtown right away. Squirrel Hill kind of twists and turns for a few miles before seeing downtown. That's a good question. Well, it flies. Don't know if 135 knots will keep up, but my parachutes are itching to jump. Well, it only has to make it to the first stop. We'll probably at least circle around Pittsburgh once or twice, kind of take in the sights. I've got the throttle back to about 150. Scorpio is in. Catbat is 9. Catbat is 9. Yes. Catbat 9 is here. And loading in. Good evening, everyone. Won't be flying with you this evening. Very important occasion, which only happens once a year, is at hand. Mrs. Scorpio and I have been married for 49 happy years. Cooking tonight filet steak and all the trimmings. Well, happy anniversary to you and Mrs. Scorpio, my dude. You have a wonderful evening. I appreciate you even popping in to tell us the happy news. You enjoy your happy evening. I don't know what the autopilot's trying to do, but it seems like it's trying to kill me. This is the problem with the that's why I don't like the autopilot. It doesn't work. Yeah. Happy times to you and the missus. So here we are approaching Pittsburgh. Some say that it's the pits. Ha ha! I'll see myself out. It might be on my end, Scorpio. I couldn't tell you why mine doesn't work. I may have to delete it and then re-download and install it, see what happens. It just doesn't work for me, and it in a lot of ways it's very underwhelming compared to even like the default Steam Gauge 172 autopilot. It just, I don't know. It could be me. It could very well be me. I don't know, but it just, I'd almost rather hand fly. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, Big Radios have been doing some really good, real hard work on the Goose. And been making a lot of very nice improvements to that. Has there been an update to the Goose Win? It was a couple of weekends ago, I think. I got the link through the Big Radio's Discord. To update to the latest version. So, good morning, virtual Pittsburgh. aromas, and yeah, it's something I need to spend more time in. They need to work on the sounds a bit, but in general, I've been really enjoying the Goose, especially since the update. Roger that, Dougal. We'll be here. Keen Lyford is in. This is the Long EZ, designed by Bert Rutan, and is a home build. And we're flying it over Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Could probably paint it up like the Enterprise. There's the home of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah. But the Flying Fabio's father flew one across the Atlantic from Brazil to Dakar, Africa, with 2 gallons of fuel to spare. So what be this over here? It's this very tall building. Trying to give people a bit of a chance to catch up and do a little exploring. A nice old style skyscraper. University of Pittsburgh. Here's Papa Joe B. I thought I uninstalled that aircraft. I think I unintentionally reinstalled the F-22. Whoops! I really don't think Papa Joe B is in flying the F-22. Whoopsie! That's what happens when you play around with the MSFS add-on linker in a rush. PA-44, yeah. When I restart the sim at our first stop, I will definitely be double checking that one. Sippage from Abnormal 34. Yeah, I like this airplane a lot. I'll have to. I've tried to look into that VFR add-on, the freeware VFR add-on. I might have to check that out. The Long Easy is the first add-on I purchased. Nice. It's definitely a worthy get. It's a lot of fun to fly. It's amazing in VR. And it's such a unique design too that it's just really cool. There they go. How you doing, boys? Martin 362 Warhamster HCVR 1100, more commonly known as the Thunderflies. Here's one of the main airports. Uh-oh. Flight sim's crashing. Feels like a Goonie, but going inside and seeing the King Air Break's fun, yeah. Luckily, we were right by an airport, so not that big of a deal. I didn't have an elaborate flight plan involved, so no worries. First thing I'm going to do is uninstall that F-22. Ruining everything. Do this. I mean, it'd be more appropriate if they could, not that they could, but if they borrowed the DC-6 cockpit. But again, they couldn't do that for a number of reasons. 3 years for you, Cessna or Piper? Wayland, the only thing wrong with the F-22 is it seems to want to replace things like the PA-44. It wants to replace other aircraft that I actually have. Was it... Papa Joe B was in a PA-44, but it was showing up as an F-22. And that's not cool. So there's nothing overall, there's nothing wrong with it, but it replacing other models is kind of an issue. I think at one point it was replacing the Mooney. And like I said, don't get me wrong, overall I like it. It's just Don't replace the things that I've already got, dude. The forces of Anakin strong with that F-22. Yeah, no kidding. Ooh, looks like we're going back to Iceland with Murph tomorrow. I'm gonna miss out on part of it because life. Alright, so one extra thing whilst we're here. Oh, I'm back. There we go. Greater Cumberland Regional is our destination. Archer, Havlog, there. Into it. There. Almost wishes my Christmas. Wish Christmas is nice. Yeah, I really want a DC-3 as well. Specifically a C-47. I'm sure one will come eventually. Airplane Heaven supposedly has one in the works, but who knows when that's going to happen. And of course it spawned me at the wrong freaking altitude. Nope, it did okay. We are in Pittsburgh. Fighting with the crappy autopilot. All it wants to do is to send us into the ground. Yeah, the autopilot sucks. I guess it's working for some, but it ain't working for me. So we are by... yes. I'm not sure why the bot's not working. It should. I actually updated it. Nearest airport is Kilo Alpha Golf Charlie. Good to see you, Mr. 90. Like the program is in. Good to see you. Yeah, I loaded up today and discovered like a 690 kilobyte update, which was really odd. No worries, Dougal. Glad to have you back. You didn't miss anything exciting. Ooh, that's a big one. I love it when a subo just, resets the things that I have set in a certain way for reasons. Trying to get her trimmed out. I don't know. Seems like EL has the world update, but I don't know what my little 690 kilobyte update was for. As all I got was the release notes for the world update. Word of the wise, always keep a can of compressed air nearby. That is odd. That's especially odd, EL. I don't know. It was when I launched the sim. There's Frozen flying quite epically. I believe that's Warhamster right next to him. We need to divert right a little bit. Frozen lagged a bit. Usually they they announce that sort of thing. I don't know. It doesn't seem like, I think that's every 21 days or something, and it hasn't been that long since the world update. I think the world update was only last week. I think they updated it then.
47 Echo, you're leaving my airspace. Resume on navigation. Contact Clarksburg approach on 119.425.
Okay.
119.42547 Echo.
Didn't really want to talk to you to begin with. Yeah, but the weird thing is, I think they updated the AirAC info with the world update. And again, that was only last week. I mean, I'm an expert at losing time, but good night. The Thunderflies love flying with the faster GA planes because it's a lot easier for them to keep speed with. got another long ease. Damaged case. I don't know. I'm completely clueless as to the cause and reason for the update. We are using live weather, that's why I'm kind of getting bumped around a lot. So apologies to the thunderflies. Hey, Allison Johnson, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Oh, sim lagged. Where does he get those wonderful toys? They are, Dougal. They absolutely 100% are. Everything good and holy.
Visibility greater than 20 miles. Sky condition: view clouds at 700 feet, view clouds at 4,400 feet.
Just give me a VFR Unicom code. Don't want to hear anything. Well, that's no worries there, Allison. Scorpio and Mrs. Scorpio were also celebrating their anniversaries, so celebrate. I'm humbled that you would spend part of your special day with me. So no worries about being late. You arrived exactly when you needed to, and given circumstances, thanks for coming at all, because that's a special, very special big day. Yeah, I love the long easy. Today is Thursday, so that means there should be a development update video from Asobo, right? I would imagine they would mention the update. You'd think. It'll be interesting to. They should be putting something out today, maybe a little later tonight. I'm pretty sure that I'm looking to see if the Carenata 170B releases either tonight or tomorrow. Joey Bolo's in as well. Good to see you, dude. Welcome to the stream and welcome to Pennsylvania. As I'm trying not to burp. Oh, we're just south of Pittsburgh. On our way for the first stop of the evening at Kilo Charlie Bravo Echo. And we are in fact in the Rutan Long Easy. One of the more unique styled aircraft available in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Joy to fly. And faster than one would imagine. Yeah, it was one of those burps that got stuck though. It's just like, I would have let it out, but then it just stopped. And it's just like, ow, ow, ow. I hate those ones. Speaking of VR, it tried to initialize VR. I didn't hit the button. Yeah. Yes. Always more. birthdays, anniversaries, and to many more in the future, many happy returns. But this airplane is just so futuristic and cool, but it was made years ago. Or designed years ago. Tio Pernas is here. Good to see you. Hope you're well. No, Tio. I just keep my steering wheel set up for iRacing. I have a HOTAS system, an X55, so my right hand is down over that way on the joystick, and my throttle quadrant is somewhere over in this direction. I just keep it up because I'm lazy. It would work for roll, but that's about it. I think some people have used it for like airliners' nose wheels steer on the ground, but in general, steering wheel not that useful for flight sim. Yeah, I'm trying to get the most out of it so I can still fly. The most I have to do right now is swap pedals out. So I have to swap my rudder pedals for my racing pedals when I want to race, and that's easy enough. The wheel is kind of a pain in the butt. Yes. So you can use a yoke as a wheel because it's only using the roll axis. But to do it the other way around, there's no pitch axis on the wheel. So you got to get a bit more creative to use a wheel for flight sim than using a yoke for racing. Oh, we got Spitfire with us. Got it. I keep my joysticks mounted this while I work, always in the way, except that one. I know the feeling. There goes the thunderflies. Closest I've been to Pennsylvania in years has been when I go to do the reenacting event in Conneaut, Ohio, because it's right on the, spitting distance of the border between Ohio and Pennsylvania. But man, is it pretty. This area is just all the rolling hills. It's almost no wonder that there's a lot of mining that goes on in Pennsylvania. In fact, I think one of the legs we get somewhere in the vicinity of a town called Allentown, which was the subject of a Billy Joel song. Fun fact. downside to flying this low over the hills is you get bounced around quite a bit. Yeah. At least in an airplane, that's not a bad thing. It's actually what you want. In a car, not so much. Just with the air, you get bounced around a whole lot, and this thing isn't built for luxury. Yep, that's a spit. Nice yoke, but currently too expensive for me. Yeah. You gotta take care of those higher priorities. That's kind of some of the reason why tomorrow I'll be missing out on, at the very least, the beginning part of Murph's stream. Because I have some real life responsibilities to take care of. But those real life responsibilities will be good for the streams in the long run. It's fair. That's fair. Yeah, it is. It's just it's basically a little window to ensure that the nose wheel's up or down. We fly over the windmills. Nothing like getting a free air show every time you stream. Yeah. For use in emergencies only. Yeah, this aircraft is just a fun aircraft to fly. In VR, it's amazing, and this area is just absolutely killer. Ooh, pardon me. Goodness. I bet it would not work. be so nice, right? Tio, isn't that one of Fabio's? Yes, it is. The only difference between Fabio's father's and this is the lack of extra fuel tank in the passenger seat. And probably the avionics, but that was kind of a... When it comes to avionics and home builds, it's really kind of non-standardized. I mean, you get the usual 6-pack, but, you know, it's kind of... You get carte blanche to do whatever you want. Whatever you feel is necessary as far as an avionics suite. Like this one, it has your 6-pack. I think it needs a better radio stack overall. Like, this radio works weird. I don't like this GPS. I'd rather have the GNS 530, which would replace that anyway. But having a nav, a COM2, nav2 would be nice. The transponder, you only get on and off. The autopilot just doesn't, at least for me, doesn't work all that well. You're not wrong, EL. It kind of is. I mean, the wings are in the back, and the props in the back, and the tail's in the front, and it's like a plane had an identity crisis. So, you're not wrong. Look at that scenery, though. This is just nuts. I favor runway 23. Sure. I'll do an overfly of the airfield just to kind of give it a look. See where the wind's heading. Well, that's either a school or a correctional facility. My money's on correctional facility. The Slammer. We're gonna skim the trees, and we're gonna look for a windsock. My winds are favoring runway 5. About it. Power lines. brake out. Nose wheel extending. Gonna do a real short final. Touchdown. Woo! Woo. Okay, throttles are idle. Gonna park it off to the side here. Power off. Time to watch some landings. The Thunderfly split. There's a turbo arrow. Oh, Steve Solo, hang on to her. Oh no! We lost Steve Solo. He's down. I didn't plan it that way, but we caught it. Nailed it. Steve, no! There's Jefferson in the extra. Whoops, whoops indeed. There's no OK. Kozaki flyers in. Spongy Bee's here. See damage case. There's Bot up in the spit. We got, who we got? Who is that? That's Cap at 9 in the pits. We got a spit in the pit. And cat bat cat. I shan't forget the cat bat cat. Oh, I'm sure he's fine. There's Spongy Bee. Ooh, that was a bit of a rough landing. Arbor Shed is in. Well done. Sounds like the Thunderflies are getting close. Speak of the devil, and they shall peer. And there's Steve Solo for take 2. Well done, everyone. Well done. Let's see if there's Kozaki Flyer. Still circling. Ooh, Captain Jack Lyle's in. Push somewhere short of the runway south. Well, glad to have you along anyway, Biggles. You take care, and we'll catch you next time. Here comes Captain Jack Lyle. It looks like a TBM. Is in fact a TBM. Nicely done. Alright. So we're going to go to this screen. And then we're going to restart the sim and load in the next leg of the flight plan. And see how that goes. Kind of yuck outside. Everybody wants your attention when you right when you start streaming. But I hope everybody's having a phenomenal week. And if you're not, just remember, we're almost at the weekend. One of the best things about Flight Sim, no landing fees. Hey, 40 Gumbo, how you doing, dude? Hope you're well. We're just reloading the sim. Good, busy few. Finally moved. Well, that's the best part. You're moved in. You're settling in, and I appreciate you stopping in. Glad to see that things are calming down for you a bit. Yeah, I leave mine plugged in, wired, all the time. Because anytime that I plug in, unless I do it at the menu, if I plug in any kind of controller, it'll freeze the sim and then crash. There have been some occasions where it'll freeze the sim and then keep going, but not often. Fair enough. Yeah, it's a tricky thing, yeah, because well, I'd love to show you, but like, cord's caught on something. You know, I keep mine connected and right over to my left. Yeah, there's no arguing that, damn case. Tell the lads I'm just taking screenshots of them. Roger that. So lads, the Thunderflies, Dougal is taking some promotional photos, so you'd be so kind as to indulge him. Now here's a question, because I don't know much about the newest generation of Xbox. Are the controllers USB-C or are they still micro USB? I was just asking. I just asked the same question. I don't know. I haven't even seen an Xbox Series X or S in person, let alone the computer. Cheese! Yeah. Well, you know what they say, great minds think alike? Although I think you probably have the better half of that bargain. So we're going from Greater Cumberland to Mifflin. I don't know if it's related to Dunder Mifflin, but we're gonna fly to Mifflin. Adjust this. It is USB-C. Good to know. How you doing, GNAC? Hope you're well. Update finished. Hopefully the sim loads now. Well, fingers crossed. Well, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, so I mean, we'll rock paper scissors if we got to. I'd almost imagine that the controllers are going to be easier to find than the console itself. Of course, I don't. What do I know? I haven't looked. I've been quite happy with the Xbox One controller, but you know, obviously you're having issues, so that's you got to get that replaced. All right. the fuel. Your start trim. It's neutral. Track. Go. Ooh, slight gap in the geometry here. Stroke right. $60 just to get used. Yeah. There's Jepson. So we're gonna hastily, hastily, yes, quickly make our way down to the runway so that we can take off and continue the trip. There's Jack Lyle taking off. Captain Jack Lyle. Oh, we need to slow down to make this turn. There's the boys lined up. That I've seen, not yet. I would imagine it's either going to be a little later tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, I'm not sure why the bot is not working. I'm going to check that real quick. We are on the East USA server, though. That's all connected. But off. Bring it back up. Try it again. Hey, the bot's alive. You know what it means. Yeah, they do. Get the full pan here in a second as I turn for departure. All the oohs and all the ahs. Skydive man. Keep her straight. Why won't she stay straight? Go up.
Kilo Oscar, Kilo Victor, automated weather
Oh,
observation.
shut up, radio.
120 F10. Visibility 10. Sky condition. View clouds at 700 feet. View clouds at 4,400 feet. View clouds at 12,400 feet.
I do not like the way they did this radio. I think they need to fix it. Yeah, they do, Kozaki. No worries. You can definitely tell that this used to have 3 runways. They transformed one into other uses, into ramp space. And we shall continue on forward. Along the flight path. That words are hard. I saw some of the map. Yeah. I think Fabio was having issues with that the other day. It might have even been yesterday. Just flight sim giving all kinds of fits and crashes and all kinds of stuff. I'd like to see India Fox Echo put better radios in this. Add the cargo pods to the wings that can either be used for cargo or fuel. And then they've got like a belly pod that you can put on this too. Although I don't know how well the belly pod would do for the intake right here, because that's an air intake. There's a bridge. There's a mountain. Don't want to fly into the mountain. There's a house on a hill. This sim just blows me away still. Glad you could, EO. Glad you could. We're glad to have you along. Seems like there should be a bit more trees around here. There's Dougal having fun. Damage case in another long easy. Oh, pardon me. I don't know where that came from. Still twinned, but much more landable. Roger, roger. You never know what you're gonna find on one of my streams. Planes flying backwards, you're gonna get sea boats and flying planes and Dougal in the aerobatic plane. Or we'll just go sideways. Oh gosh, that's getting annoying real quick. There's a mountain. A few days ago on your stream, the planes didn't fly at all, just drive around in circles. Something like that, yeah. It's going to happen on Saturday, too, hopefully. Let's see how tomorrow's adventure goes for me. Look at that. Any plane is an aerobatic feature and stress off. You're not wrong. You're very much not wrong. This is just a pretty area, isn't it? Oh, goodness. Excuse me. I don't know what's gotten into me all of a sudden. And to be able to fly in this area in real life would just be amazing. This is just nuts. Such a fun airplane. Nothing beats getting to fly with all of you guys. Look, Ma, no hands. And depending on how tomorrow goes, then I don't want to say what I'm doing tomorrow, just in case it doesn't go through. Here's the irony of the whole situation. If it goes well, it's going to be good for the channel and, you know, the streams in the long run, and for me in real life in the long run. But in the short run, it's going to have an impact on streams, and it's gonna eat me alive, because I love doing this. I love sharing time with you guys. I love being able to fly. You know, and if tomorrow goes well for me, it's gonna have an impact, and that's gonna eat at me. If it doesn't, you know, we'll be status quo normal. And I want it to go well, but I also don't. I want to keep doing this. I hope they add Delta Wing flight model into the same. I would imagine they're getting close to doing stuff like that. It seems like they're going to be adding in better supersonic flight dynamics once they release the Top Gun DLC in the fall, along with carriers and all that fun stuff. So that's going to be really interesting. So I'd imagine Delta Wing should be in there at some point. They've mastered formation flight. It looks so easy. Yeah, they make it look silly easy, but it's not. It takes a lot of time, and they are on all the time. Try to remember the exact route. I was once flying somewhere in Asia. Start over the forest and the lakes, go over the mountains, a volcano, beaches, sea, and finally land on the coastal city. Nice. They never stop practicing. If they're not practicing with Murph, they're practicing here. If they're not practicing here, they're practicing with Allison. If they're not practicing with Allison, they're practicing with anybody. They're on at all times of the day. Practically. One has to wonder is how much do they really sleep? Just keep getting better and better. Ooh, golf course. Yeah, they really, I bet they do. I honestly bet they do. Some say when they go to bed at night, they just stay in the plane. All we know is they're called a butterfly. I've been spending time with them and see, and that's one reason why I could never be a Thunderfly. Is just that's so much time. Thank you for the Alley for 08. Many thanks for the follow. Now I have to wonder, oh Thunderflies, if you're looking for a daring pilot for Squirrel Force 1, I may know a guy. Lost Reaper. This airplane, no. It is a paid add-on. It is available in the in-sim marketplace as well as other retailers or e-tailers. Other flight sim related markets. It's not expensive though, but it's a lot of fun to fly. Developed by India Fox Echo. I do have a couple, I think. I know I have an F-22 that's available on flightsim.to. C-17 that's also available at the same place. And I've played around a little bit with converting FSX aircraft, including F-14s and that sort of thing. As far as the F-22, the one I have is the most recent version from something Mach Group. Mach's in their name, the M-A-C-H. I can't think of it right off the top of my head. It's like on their third or fourth version or update, but it's actually reasonably well done. The Alpha Jet is free. I do have that. I keep forgetting about that one. I don't have the F-22 installed, however, because it has a weird tendency to overwrite other airplanes that I have, like the PA-44, which I believe Papa Joe B is flying. Somehow gets overwritten by the F-22, and that's just weird. It's the same as the Channel 8 minus the 85. Although we fly the low and slow GA planes, we don't really do the military jets other than the Thunderflies. I do have the T-45. Not exactly GA. Was that a lot of people who... yeah, so those are the Thunderflies. They're flying the MB339, and they're the in-house formation team for the Two-Tone Murphy Flying Circus. And they're all real people. Yeah, the Fiat 91's there, but it is not a freeware. There's me teleporting into the scene. We got you, EO. I need to switch tanks because I'm leaning a particular... No. Here we go. Yeah, there's still a few things that I don't particularly care about. Some of the more creature comfort UI... Not UI, but That's kind of the interface about this. It's Lost Reaper with the follow. Many thanks, dude. Where's the nose gear? Is it retractable? Yes. Fuzzy lumpkins. So the nose gear is stored up here. So this little crank lowers it and raises it. And it's stored right in there. Just watching AP drove me. Oh dear. Yep. Although when it's parked, it's typically rested on its nose. The nose gear will retract, and you just rest it on the nose. But in flight, you know, the wheel is retracted, and for landing, you just let her down. Well, I have quite a few. I have the Coronado fleet. That I have all of the default aircraft, of course. Slightly off course, that's okay. I had that situation up during my ground for my GAs, and I'm okay. I really wish Working Title would do their version of the GNS 530. I'm starting to have issues with the PMS 51. It doesn't seem to be as reliable as it used to be. It's kind of a bummer because I like the added functionality of it, but I get a lot of just random CTDs with it installed. Carbon Cub would probably be a little slow. Yeah, I think something along the lines of the Bonanza. The Bonanza, the Mooney, the Seneca, all those would keep up rather well. The X-Cub, yeah. That'd be a little slow. Yeah, the Mooney's a real popular one. They did a phenomenal job with it. Honestly, I think just in an overall quality-wise, I think the Seneca is probably the Coronado's best release to date, just in an overall sense. But the Mooney is phenomenal. The engine buff for them, I'm indicating right around 150 knots. Well, if you can keep up with them, then more power to you. I think we're starting to get close to Mifflin. Look at these mountains, though. The Spitfire is definitely worthy of a buy. It's a bit of a challenge to learn at first, but it's definitely a rewarding experience. This terrain is just amazing. There's Dennis G, Arbichetta, Sean Legoman, the Thunderflies, Papa Joe, EL737, Bodip, Dougal, Noel, Roger RC, and Damage Case. All with us, and probably some people that I just couldn't see their name tag. Yeah. I've heard good things about that one. I have the Aerolite 103, and I like that. I know they have an add-on, but they should add more stable version of the FA-18. Well, good news about the FA-18. Microsoft Flight Simulator will have an official Top Gun Maverick DLC, which will include the F-18. Likely an aircraft carrier, and potentially the SR-72 or whatever they're calling it. So, but that releases in the fall. Goblin is having fun in the Vertigo. I used to break into the panel CFG all the time and fix autopilots. I'm annoyed it's not that easy. Yeah. The original movie's a classic. I wish I could be more excited for Top Gun Maverick than I am. The only thing keep holding me back from the new one is I've heard lots of reports from the sailors on the ship they filmed on that he wasn't exactly the most pleasant of person to the sailors and Marines on board, and I can't help but take that personally. Now, there are allegations. There's nothing confirmed. Of course, the top brass will say anything to save face, but yeah. One report that I heard was Tom Cruise wasn't happy with his accommodations and wanted to oust the admiral of his quarters while he was on board for filming. There's a certain line, Damage Case. There's a certain line. It's one thing to be a naval aviator and kind of have that attitude, and another thing entirely to be an actor and act like that. It's just... As much as I will, make fun of the Navy being for being the Navy and being former Army, it's one thing for us to mess with each other, but for outsiders to do it, don't take it too awfully well. But again, they are allegations. I cannot confirm anything, but that's the only thing holding me back from really being excited for Top Gun Maverick. I know I was on an ATC. That's fair. You know, I love my brothers and sisters in the Navy and the Marines, even the Coast Guard and the Air Force, and apparently the Space Force. But there were, I don't know, I just, allegations like that, it's just like, I don't know. I believe, I'm more apt to believe the sailors and Marines than I am brass. No, I believe it. I believe it, damage case. I 100% believe it. I mean, naval aviators are a whole different breed. Good, bad, or otherwise. So, our airport might actually be over here. So we're a little off course. I mean, Navy pilots are even a breed of their own compared to Air Force pilots. You want to talk about the race to be smug. Actually, damage case, you're probably the second Navy, former Navy ATC guy that I know, old veteran. Speaking of which, I was just about to talk about you, Scott. It seems that you and damage case have something in common, being ATC for the U.S. Navy. Although it appears damage case was on the carrier. No, absolutely. Absolutely, damage. Absolutely. You're 100% not wrong. You're 100% correct. It takes a special kind of person to do that. So they get to be that smug. Aha! Aha! Gotcha. Must have missed that. Roger that. I see you. So we're coming in for our next landing. Probably just gonna straight in. So pull the power back. We have the real lights. How you doing, Scott? Hope you're well. Hope you're not melting down there until I can't words. Hope you're not melting down there in Texas. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, Dougal. Most Air Force folks would have issues trying to land on a carrier there. Yeah. Well, between that slow and it's a moving target. Unfortunately not, Lost Reaper. It's still a bug in Flight Sim to where we can't. You have a good one, Shuffle Shoes. Thanks for coming along as much as you could. Happy to have you in the chat. And you take care of yourself. We'll catch you next time. So there's the nose wheel extended. Dude for listening, okay, and the AC still had to do hope to do it. There you go. Didn't really need to know that, Lost Reaper. We got some new faces, we got some, I don't want to say old faces, but known faces. Alright. Our final drag brake comes out. Lining up runway 6. Air Stud, greetings from Canada. Well, howdy from Michigan. Hope you're well. It was going to be good, and then it kind of tweaked at the last second. Oh dear. I said that I didn't want to say old. I said known faces. There they go. Slow her down so we can make the turn. There we go. Alright, we're stopped there. There's no parking brake. Alright, so avionics come off, mixture comes out, log the flight, and we're going to watch some landings. There's Dougal McTavish in. Damage case is in. There's EL. Parking brake on that bird was to get a... Yep. I just had a senior moment. Forgot that for half a second. There's Druid Zeus in. Trying to frame the runway real nice. That's good. There's Noel K. Those dirty dogs hid the windsock in the trees. There's Arborchetta. For Osh to Murphy yesterday, we need to start the... Yes. You're absolutely right. So we are planning a two-turn or a Firefly meetup as there's Lost Reapers. We are planning a Firefly meetup at Oshkosh next year. There's Sean Legaman in the Caravan. Roger RC in the MB339. In real life, yes, GDAC. So in person next year. EL 737 is switching to the Bonanza. Roger. So it'll be in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. We're starting to make some plans, and those are the plans you need to file ahead of time. I do have the H-135. I see Kozaki flying in a gigantic gig. No. Here come the lads. I hear them. Little in the grass. There's the second wave. Steve Solo with the real landing this time. Got next. We got Warhamster off, and this is Papa Joe B is up yonder. Alright. Well, it seems like that's most everybody. coming in. Roger. While you're doing that, though, I'm going to restart the sim real fast, load up the last leg of the flight plan, and we'll keep this party moving along. So there you can see the dates of Oshkosh next year, 25 to 31 July 2022. We wanted to give it a year for the world to kind of shake itself out. You take care, Noel. Always glad to have you along. And we will see you next time. No AP to mess up in the E40. Well, we picked 2022 for the year because we started talking about it last fall, and with 2021 still kind of being, iffy here and there throughout the world, we decided we'll just plan on 2022. That gives us plenty of time or at least a reasonable amount of time to plan and book hotels and get tickets and that sort of thing. Because it's not your average event. It lasts a week, and it's worth every bit of it. Not everybody stays for the whole week. There are those that do. There's a lot to see. I don't think even if you stayed every single day that the show was going on, I don't think you could ever see everything. Because there's literally just so much going on. Workshops, air shows, static displays. I mean, you name it, and there's probably something to do with it. I mean, everything involving aviation, from building airplanes, working on airplanes, flying airplanes, old airplanes, new airplanes. It's just there's all kinds of stuff. I know Microsoft Flight Simulator is going to be there at least this year. I'd imagine they'd be there next year too. But it's such a big show. Ooh, that's weird. I have noticed that they still haven't fixed the heavy GPU usage in the menus that it didn't used to. Back in the day when I went every year, yeah. I mean, the last time I went was 2012, and they sure weren't going that year. But for the longest time of me going, they were there. I want to say last time I was there, it was for FSX, and they had just launched the acceleration pack. That was the time before. That was the last time I went with my grandpa, because we ended up stopping along the way and picking up a copy because they ran out. Or stopping on the way home to pick up a copy. It's a great show, Dougal. My only regret is not ever having flown into Oshkosh. My grandpa used to. But I don't know if I was ever around. You get my meaning for any of that? If I was very little. But it was was a great experience. You know, even driving up there. Other than sleeping on the, you know, parking lot, that part wasn't fun. Sucks that this. I was thinking, oh, that's not good, Dougal. Well, that means you just gotta come out and join us next year. Sucks that it's across the pond for some of us, yeah. And I definitely get that. The last time I was there was 2006, the year before I retired from the FAA. Aha! I think I went in 2006. I might have gone in 2006, so we might have been there at the same time. I remember camping under the wing. Yeah, I missed out on that. Well, I'm still loading the sim, so there's not much I can do. And as much as I'd love to do that, we did the landings, and we got to keep the show rolling. Because we still got a long leg, and we've got to check out the speedway while we're going. Change some weights around. Sure that the airplane is balanced. Needs to be. Okay, that's good. Good. That's it. Oh man, we were all kind of there at the same time. Went there to work on one of the tents. Nice. That's kind of hilarious though that we were all there at the same time without knowing each other. That's funny. Okay, let's see. Loading in now. If you went to the NatCa10, I was there. I was running a video presentation of it. I honestly couldn't tell you if I did or not. It's possible. We're going to be flying over the Pocono Raceway in Pocono, Pennsylvania. Or near it, anyway. The Tricky Triangle. First did such an event in Florida in 93 and 94. It sounds like sun and fun. Friend had an aircraft. He flew us to the air show there in Central Florida. Yeah, that's definitely sun and fun. That was fabulous. I've never been to Sun and Fun, but it's like the little Oshkosh that I'd like to go to there. Damage case, I was in AT school while you were there. Nice. Sun and Fun, yeah. Wait, the year earlier. Yeah. I think that's why they hold Sun and Fun in April, so it's not like completely murder, death, kill. I would not go to Florida in the summer. You couldn't pay me enough to go to Florida in the summer. Ugh. Fuel on, mixture rich, throttle correct. Oh yeah, no, 100% damage case. We were just shorter jaunt from the Sony tent. Ooh. Remember 35mm cameras when that was the normal and they were pretty good? Later. Start. On. Coming on. Yeah. Oh, 10. Can you pause this because it... yeah. Those pesky age restrictions. 22. That should be a building, and it's not. Okay, so we're gonna go to the left. We're gonna go to the left. to do that. I want to go to the Flying Legend show. Oh, that would be so awesome. So yeah, there's plenty of pull to do a get together in Europe. Plenty of options for that. You know, it's having the Firefly Mine. It's really challenging because you do it in the U.S. and you get out. You know, you might get some of the European folks in, but you do it over in Europe and you might get some of the U.S. folks in. It's just it's a challenge one way or other crossing the pond. Not to mention it's, you know, not cheap. Yeah. I was going to make it was. I plan on doing the UK and the continent in 23 followed as well. Nice. Simba 29 Real is in. Good to see you, dude. Hope you're well. Simba. I could not help myself with that. Swim across for the exercise. Nice. Alright, we've got one last leg to go for the night. Make our way to Pocono. Get ourselves established. Set our altimeter. Double check our directional gyro. And full throttle. Brakes released. Keep her straight. Man, this thing is... This wants to fight you the whole way on the ground roll. There, we're up. Nose gear coming up. See it there. Happens to the best of us, EL. Happens to the best of us. Isn't this a nice place for an airport, nestled in a valley like this? So while we're on this last leg for the night, I'd like to give a special shout out to Pilot Peely, who is just breaking into the streaming world. Dougal, do you have a link to his YouTube channel? If so, feel free to slap it into the chat. Pilot Peely is going to be starting his venture into streaming. He's made several awesome videos promoting the SimWings project. And if you haven't heard about the SimWings project is an awesome collaboration of folks that basically run charity events and help provide flight sim related items such as computers or peripherals to those less fortunate and who may not otherwise have a chance to get into the lovely world of flight simulation. So please do give... that's not good, EL. That's not good at all. But do check out Pilot Peely's channel. And check out SimWings. Both wonderful. Pilot Peely's a wonderful dude. And the SimWings project is just full of great people doing great things. You know, the community has done just what the community does and been great. They've been a real lifeline for me in some dark times, and anything I can do to help promote the community is, you know, I'll be there, because I give back. They give to me, and I give what I can to them. And, you know, it's just an important thing to keep forwarding, paying it forward, as you will. Let's see. And not crab. Plane. Oh, where that is. Oh dear. Multitasking. Very difficult. Oh. So here's a link to Pilot Peely's. Well, I guess it's a promo video for him getting into streaming, but it'll get you to his channel. Wow. That's not how you spell wings at all. Oh, crash the airplane. Sure, it looks like it. And this is a link to the Simwings project. No worries, Dougal. But be sure to check out both Simwings project and Pilot Peely. Bunch of good people worth supporting. It was a struggle for me to do copy, paste, and click, and this and that. You know, using a mouse over here, flying with, you know, my left hand, crossing my body. It was really interesting. I'm sure that was fun to watch. Simwings will be reopening applications very soon. Nice. Simwings has definitely been growing over the last year, and it's growing. Comes a little pain every now and then, but they're keeping on doing what they do and being awesome like that. I believe Captain Bombasso was the first recipient of a Simwings computer. And will fly along with the community from time to time. I don't care if you don't look at I don't care if you look at my head. I've got a hat on. You can't see my bad haircut. Major giveaways coming, not by Basso. Roger. I forget his name. I feel bad now. Although Captain Bombasso does fly with us from time to time. Captain K. Peterkin, AvGeek 01, and Libyan Pilot are the current recipients. Roger that. So, real folks, all being the beneficiaries of some awesome people and some awesome contributions. So, cheers to the SimWings project. May it continue to grow and do awesome things. I know I participated in the Chile live stream for SimWings. I believe was it Alaska 737? Man, the Chile event was awesome. I feel bad. Alaska 559. That's it. He's one of the primary streamers for SimWing Project events. I don't know where, but it's cold. Yes. It's at the one thing in the one place with the people and the things. Oh, air dip. It's that thing from the place with the people and the guy. When Laven, hey pretty lady. Ah, Jerry Lewis. What a national treasure. Back when you could have plenty of comedy and it was clean. Or at least cleaner and still hilarious. This has been a nice flight. Lots of plenty of beautiful scenery. Even got to see a big city. And it's always great flying with the community, because that's what it's all about. Yeah. Many. I think the mix is okay. A little on the watery side, but not bad. Whew. I heard the engine start going down, but I think that was just damage case. Got me going. It's like, uh-oh, what's going on with my engine? Because I've had a number of occasions where my engine will just decide to, you know, not work properly. And I'll start falling out of the sky for no reason. I don't know, Murph can make a straight line seem exciting. I blame the wig. The wig and the gin. I will say, Murph, if you're listening, you need some saxophone music in your streams, dude. Some epic sax music. And the spa, oh jeez, yeah. The totally not a hot tub. But speaking of spa, Saturday, when we delve into some iRacing, we will be taking laps around Spa in Belgium. And then we will be preparing for the next Firefly Grand Prix, which will be held at a new location. And that location is Laguna Seca, or WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in California. Decided to move locations and tried a new venue from Lime Rock Park. Lime Rock Park has served us well and is a phenomenal little track. But it's time we step it up to the big leagues. But before that, I will be doing an AI race at Spa in Belgium. That is a tricky race course that I've gotten most of it down, except for the very last, well, not very last, because there's the hairpin, which is the last turn, or the first turn. I never remember which. But there's a quick right and left. That one I always get very confused on. I have a tendency to Hamilton the corner, and I'll just forget to stop. Oh, I don't know the names of the corners. It's a quick right and left, coming to the line or coming to the hairpin. The closest to the big hill I know is Biggin Hill, and that's not in Belgium. Yeah. While having a break from MSFS, trying out DCS SnowRunner and Desperados 3. Nice. There's a lot of good things about DCS. It's just not my jam. I've seen good things about SnowRunner, though. They even have a Michigan map. And I don't think I've heard of Desperados 3. The closest to Desperados 3 I can think of is just Red Dead Redemption. I never did finish the first one. I barely got started in the first one. Yeah, that's what I hear about it. I've heard nothing but good things about the SnowRunner and MudRunner and whatever. Red Dead is on a list of expensive Desperados. Ah. Is Desperados in a similar vein to Red Dead, or just not, you know, Grand Theft Stagecoach? Kind of an old westy game anyway. It's kind of a mix of action and strategy. Very interesting. Yeah, I'll have a look. And that's fair, damage case. It's one of those. It's kind of like GTA Online. Like GTA. The idea of GTA multiplayer is great until you just kind of get everybody in and it's just a bunch of trolling and just nonsensical stuff. So I can imagine that Red Dead's much the same. Ooh, that's interesting. Uh-oh. Flight sim's crashing. It's going down. There it went. Boo. Someone will have to know where we were close to, or I'll just find it. Find everybody on the world map. Let's an airport. Yeah, that's the second CTD I've had tonight. The first one I think was just I had too much going on between like TAA and the streaming and the amount of planes. But this one, hard to say. At a point where I'm with you. Yeah. So we're just waiting on the sim to reload. Now the trick here is now I've lost the waypoint for the speedway. Luckily, I do remember that the speedway is southwest of the airfield. So I can kind of accommodate a little bit. Of course, knowing my luck, it's going to reset my graphic settings, so that probably happened. But we'll double check it. One of these days I need to tear down my PC and figure out everything that's attached to it and kind of reevaluate what's connected to where and how and all that fun stuff. A lot of cables going and I don't even know what's where anymore. My cable management is atrocious. You'd all be shocked and disgusted if you saw it. There we go. Alright, let's double check. I hate to I really it's really annoying that the cursor is hidden by default in Flight Sim. That's minor nuisance. Yep, that got changed again. Solo, you gotta stop messing with the freaking settings and resetting them. That's really, 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 really unwelcome and annoying. Alright, so arrival airport is KMPO. MPO. Pocono Mountains Municipal Airport. Pancha. There. In this browser you kind of solve puzzles by figuring out how to shoot your way out of. Interesting. It almost kind of sounds like an RTS ish, or even like a classic Rainbow Six. Just a Western. I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't played games in 20 years. It's a stupid broken AP. I think I'd read with 6 on some old Symbian phone. Nice. And I don't think it saved the weather time, or the time, so... all of it. We're gonna darn near rental power this. Make up lost time. Kind of want to keep a little right to the track, to the magenta line, so that we find the speedway a little easier. There's a quarry of some kind, maybe a mine. This is just a neat area because you got the low, flatter lands, and you got mountains, and you got valleys, and Pennsylvania, the land of pens. If the Bic Pen Company isn't based in Pennsylvania, I'll be sad. Where are Bic pens made? In Pennsylvania. I'll see myself out. Tim Sir, you take care, Scott. Thanks for swinging by and hanging out with us for a little while. Hope your dinner is as tasty as you hope, if not more so. So if you were watching along with Two-Tone Murphy's stream yesterday, we did make a stop at the Pocono Regional Airport. Murphy even flew over the track. Completely missed it. But that's okay. So the Pocono Regional Airport was the second stop of the first stop of Murph's stream yesterday. And it'll be our final stop here today. Of course, I was on the Murph line yesterday. It was a different experience. I've gotten some good feedback on it. People actually liked having me on. Some people liked hearing more about me. I try not to talk about myself too much. Just because I don't think I'm all that interesting. I'm not the kind of person that talks about myself all that much unless I'm being asked the question. It's not who I am. I like coming up with anecdotal things, like, flying over somewhere that sparks a memory, sure. Like, I'm pretty sure, I don't think we drove through Pennsylvania on my way back home from basic training. Sean Legoman's landing. So he might be heading off for the night, which is awesome. Just fine. That used to have a different runway. Or a second runway. There's the Thunderflies. Ooh, look at this. This might be Allentown, actually. Look at that mine and quarry. Isn't that something? Oh, just did a touch and go. Roger that. Sorry for being quiet. I'm really just taking in the scenery. It's really, really pretty. There's just so much to see, and it's just interesting how things are. Keeps being more and more and more of them. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. That's happened to me, Kazaki. So don't feel bad. It's happened to me on occasion. If you do Control E, it should start it back up. If not, if you have any button assigned to thrust reverse, hit that button, and it should give you your engine back. I will say it's good to know that I'm not the only one that happens to, but it still sucks. We have Kozaki's position where he went down. It is definitely nice to know that I'm not the only one it happens to, because it's incredibly frustrating. It's just like what even would there be that would do that? I was answered the bank left I'm saying upset on crash, no AP, no idea yet. Which honestly just kind of tells me that they're messing with servers, and whatever they're doing on messing with the servers is affecting people, and that's weird. Like, I don't think I've ever played any kind of game that's done that before. Which, you know, brings up several legitimate questions of why is this a thing? So we're getting close to the speedway-ish. So now is when we start doing some exploring. Trying to find it. Once you see it, you'll know it, because it's a triangle, you know. It's your normal racetrack's either a rectangle or some sort of road course. This one's a legitimate triangle. Interesting. That's really interesting, Kazaki. I think somebody somewhere in France is pressing buttons. Working the late shift at a Sobo. I think that's it right there. So, the Pocono Speedway could easily host one of the Red Bull Air races. I know that at one point in time, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway hosted the Red Bull Air races, and they actually used the backstretch as a runway for added convenience. The front stretch on the at Pocono is very easily used as a runway, so it would be very conceivable that they could use the Pocono Raceway for the Red Bull Air races. And it's a unique thing, so just saying. And you don't have the added worry of being in the middle of a metropolitan area. So here it is, the Pocono Raceway. One of the last privately owned big racetracks on the NASCAR circuit, known as the Tricky Triangle. As we fly down the front stretch, grandstands in the garage area, not very well represented, but it is what it is. It's a very long front stretch. Then you got turn 1. I believe this is the Long Pond straightaway. Then you have this corner, turn 2, inspired by Indianapolis Motor Speedway's turns. You have, I don't know if it really has a backstretch per se, but if it did, this would be it. And then a long, flat, sweeping left-hander going back to the front stretch. It does have some capability of road racing using the infield areas. Plenty of variety of layouts at its disposal. Oh, ouch. So, all kinds of options here at the Tricky Triangle of Pocono. Yeah, this has got to be the Long Pond straightaway because that looks like a long pond. Then a solar bank, or a solar farm? Roger that, Kozaki. So yeah, this is the Pocono Raceway. Give it one more orbit, and then we shall head to the airport for landing. Got a helipad right on the track, right in the infield, just in case. Now we make our way for the final landing of the evening. I do appreciate everyone flying along, being in the chat, whether you're just lurking or chatting actively. Even if you're just watching along, it means an awful lot to me to have you all here. I'm a very, very blessed individual to be able to do the streaming thing and have any level of success at it. A lot of people try it, a lot of people don't get anywhere, and I've been very, very lucky to have you all follow and participate and keep me going. Because without you guys, I may not be still doing this. We're gonna overfly the field, check out the windsock, see where it's indicating. Tanya, people don't understand that, the middle of the week is not fireworks time. There's no holiday right now. So why are you lighting off fireworks, especially loud ones? Got plenty of them that are like, are they fireworks or is it gunfire? I don't know. I mean, I kind of do know. Hello. Okay. That was weird. I'll wake you up in the morning. I'll wake you up in the evening, too. Apparently. So, windsock, give me a windsock. Need to know the wind. Okay, so we're gonna make a lefty turn. And we're gonna land on the easterly runway. Well, that building just loaded in weird. Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Find me, you find. I don't know where that's from, but I can't stop thinking of it. Okay, speed brake out. Gear coming down. Kind of thought about it, bet you. That could be a thing too. If there's one thing that I forget about the most flying a twin-engine aircraft or any kind of Piper, it's switching tanks. Like this. I keep forgetting to switch tanks. Right on the bottom, dead center. Right below the pilot. Oh, the control, it is... One second. It's there on the side there. Give me 1 second. No. Okay. Stabilize. It's that one. Right by the seat. Okay. Turn on to here. What was that noise? Don't need you. We don't need you. Thunder flies. What is going on? All right. Flight logged. Alright, runway 13. Is open for business. There's a Seneca of Druid Zeus. There's EL doing a flyby. Damage case in the long easy. Uh-oh. Whoops. I've done that. Don't feel bad, because I've done that. There's Roger RC in the spit. Wee bit of a bounce. There's Dougal in the pits. Oh! Oh, Dougal! Dougal's down! Dougal looked too far into the sun and got bit. Oh no! Not Dougal. You just clipped it. Christian Hampson nuclear. What is going on? That's weird. It ain't right, but it's weird. You were just keeping up, in foreign relations with the grass and the asphalt. Because Top Gun. There's Bot. Stalls and crashes, not near as the behavior before the update. Yeah, that's really odd, Yell. That's it's not good. There's Sean Legoman in the caravan. Kinda rhymed, didn't it? Got a Dougal coming in for redemption. There's Spongy B. Here comes Dougal. Nicely done, Dougal. Landing on the crossrunner are the Thunderflies. There's wave 1. And wave 2. So with that said, I do appreciate everybody coming out and flying along, or just hanging out in the chat, or even just lurking. It's all very much appreciated. For all the gift subs, for all the resubs, for all the new follows, and even if you just came and watched and didn't do a thing. Really appreciate y'all. It means an awful lot to me that you come here and check out my channel and enjoy the content. It's always a great pleasure to hang out with all of you, chat along, and just have fun. I can't wait to keep doing it in the future. Remember, Saturday we're going to be in iRacing. We're going to take some laps around Spa, the famous track in Belgium. And then we have the Firefly Grand Prix at Laguna Seca later in the day. But until next time, really appreciate and love you all. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So until next time, be good to each other. Stay safe out there. We'll catch you next time. Take care.